longer run back to Texas. Oh, yeah!
Today we honour a great friend of the Ask Johnny channel. Today we honour the great Clint Eastwood. Oh yeah, Johnny Clint's been a long time supporter of the Ask Johnny channel, and it's going to be a bloody pleasure to produce this documentary for him. So Johnny, where was Mr. Eastwood where was he born? Johnny, he was born way back in 1930 in beautiful sunny San Francisco. Oh, yeah, right. There he was, a skinny, runty little bloody kid. Did he do well at school, Johnny? Nah, he never did too well at school. Yeah, he was a shy, skinny kid, Johnny, and he said so in an interview in 1978 that his mother once dragged him aside and said to Clint, "Clint, you're never going to be any fucking good." Now that seemed to haunt Clint for the rest of his life. Did she really say that, Johnny? I'm not sure that's what a mother would actually say. Now that haunted Clint for many a year, and in fact may have turned him into a bloody psychopathic psychopath. But he was good at sport, Johnny, and if you're good at sport at high school, then you're always bloody popular. So when did the great Clint Eastwood, when did he embark on his brilliant acting career? And it wasn't long before Clint got the acting bug, Johnny, and he moved himself up to Hollywood, California. Oh, yeah. His first movie was Revenge of the Creature. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Revenge of the Creature. It should have got an Academy Award, I reckon, but that's all in the past. Such was Clint's performance in this particular film that people saw him as a future star. That's for sure, a future superstar.
Mr. Eastwood's residence. Yes? Just a moment. Mr. Stanley Darrow.
Stanley Darrow?
Someday...
KG? Hello, Mr. Darrow?
Mr. Eastwood, the reason I'm calling, we have a big feature coming up soon, and I thought you might be interested in the starring role. It's a great script. Do you think you could get about 6 weeks off from your TV series?
Oh, 6 weeks? Well, I could sure try and manage that, sir.
But you couldn't afford me, you cheap old windbag.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Well, are you interested, Eastwood?
Yes, sir. I'm definitely interested, Mr. Darrow.
But if you ever show your ugly puss on the set, I'll quit.
Oh, yeah. But Johnny Clint got his big break. His big break was as being cast as Rowdy Yates in the Western TV series Rawhide. Why, I remember seeing Rawhide when I was a young bloke in the 60s, a kid, and the music had come on, rolling, 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 keep them doggies rolling, keep them doggies rolling, Rawhide, roping, riding, Brandon, and
Keep moving, 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 oh, they're disapproving, keep them doggies moving, rawhide, don't try to understand them, just roll.
Rawhide? Who could ever forget Rawhide, Johnny? He was bloody great in that show.
Be waiting at the end of my ride. Move 'em on, hit 'em up, move 'em on, move 'em on.
Yeah, it was bloody great.
Move 'em on, hit 'em up, move 'em on.
And of course, Johnny, when he left Rawhide, he said, "I'm going to make it as a movie actor." And he went to Italy, of all places, and made a couple of bloody Italian westerns over there, they call them. And they were bloody violent, and they were bloody loud too.
Do you think of yourself as a sort of classical cowboy, you know, the Tom Mix of 1967 or something?
Well, not in these films, no. In these films, the character in Fistful is he's the epitome of anti-heroism, and he's one of the few westerns in which the hero sort of instigates conflict in the story. Most of the time, all conflict in a western, especially, is instigated by the villain. In this case, the hero sort of throws kerosene on the fire.
And Clint came over as a cigar-smoking hombre with a bit of bloody stubble and a bloody caftan or whatever you call it. And he'd shoot people down, Johnny. He'd shoot them down at the drop of a hat. But that didn't seem to matter. People loved him shooting people at the drop of a hat.
Distributed around the world, and the ensuing 2 Italian-made films also they distributed around the world. But there was never any campaign as far as I was concerned. In fact, I had to do those 3 films before I even started getting any offers from American producers, because I was still considered a television actor.
There's no doubt in my mind, Johnny, that Clint was at his finest in those particular films. Yeah, so in the late 60s, Johnny, he made movies like Coogan's Bluff, and he made a good one where Eagles Dare with bloody Richard Burton. Oh, yes, who can forget it? There's no doubt in my mind, Johnny, that Clint was at his finest in those particular... Shortly after that, Clint's career took a slightly different turn, Johnny. And then he had to go at a musical of all things in Paint Your Wagon. And I tell you what, hearing Clint Eastwood sing is something you never forget.
They've had just about all of me they're gonna take.
Roddy, why don't you go out and sing?
You lost your mind or something? I can't sing to him.
Well, yeah, just sing like you do to the Beeves. That's good enough.
Look, boys, those are cattle. These are people out here, and they got guns.
A branch of the arts that he excelled in.
The sun over the mountain, there's a place my heart's longing to be. Beyond the sun over the mountain, there's a face my eyes hunger to see. The long, long road seems like an end.
But in 1971, Johnny, 1971 was a big year for Clint. He made his directorial debut in Play Misty For Me, where he himself played a lily-livered sort of a DJ bloke who was pretty fucking weak, I thought, being harassed by some woman. Yeah, he was piss weak in that role, really. It wasn't a real Clint role, but what was coming up next, Johnny? But it was the film after that, Johnny, that brought him international acclaim. That being Dirty Harry. Oh, Dirty Harry. And what a dirty son of a bitch he was.
I'm coming down there in 5 minutes. You better have those files open, you pencil-pushing son of a bitch.
Whoa, we're not just gonna let you walk out of here.
Who's we, sucker?
Smith, Wesson, and me.
Yeah, he had the famous quote while pointing his bloody huge 44 Magnum at some bloody punk's head. Go on, Johnny, do the voice, go on, do the voice. Some bloody punk's head, he said, go ahead, make my day. You sound just like him, it's bloody uncanny.
Go ahead, make my day.
Johnny, word on the street is that there were quite a few bloody phrases that could have been used instead of that famous one. What were they?
To me, you're nothing but dog shit, do you understand?
Yeah, one that almost made the cut. One was almost, I'm gonna shove this gun right up your ass. Oh, Jesus, he should have been a bloody singer. That didn't get there. And as I said, Clint went on to make 3 of these Dirty Harry films where he played a psychopathic, homicidal, bloody murdering sort of a... What a dirty son of a bitch he was! Then, of course, Johnny, then came High Plains Drifter, where, for almost the entire film, Clint just rode around on his horse up in the high plains up there without saying a fucking word. He's perfect to play some bastard who rides around on his horse all day and doesn't say anything. He's perfect. he followed along with the outlaw Josie Wales, but there was a bit more of the same sort of bloody stuff of Clint riding around out there on his own, persecuted. He was always persecuted, it was Clint. Now you look at it, it seems that Clint plays the same bloody bloke in every film, doesn't he? But that didn't matter. Clint always bloody unpersecuted himself by shooting the bastards that were persecuting him. And that surely is a good role model for kids today. A great role model for children, Johnny, but what was coming next for Clint?
Do you stop to think about what fans think about Clint Eastwood the man?
No, I don't think about that. I tell you, if you start thinking about, if you start worrying about all kinds of images and stuff, you get false impressions of yourself. And to me, I always believe in moving forward with whatever I'm doing, and whatever the impressions are, I only go by the response to the films in general.
Of course, then Clint went on to make the bloody tremendously successful monkey films, I call them. These monkey films, any which way but loose, any which way, but there were two of them, by Jesus, there were two of them, and they're almost the same. Which is a credit to Clint's filmmaking skill to get them almost identical. Oh, yeah, the monkey films, Johnny. You know, the acting in that film should have been it should have been nominated for an Academy Award. And I'm not talking about Clint, I'm talking about the fucking orangutan. Clint went on to make a few more successful films of, flying bloody jet planes and all that sort of bloody stuff. But then he burst back onto the scene. He burst back onto the scene at 65 years old as the fabulous Pale Rider. Which again suited him because he was looking pretty fucking pale by this time in his life. He was 65, for Christ's sake.
Ned and I and my character, they're all up in the rocks, the three of us, the kid and Morgan Freeman's character, we're all up there, and we actually ambushed this guy.
Now, of course, Johnny Clint was a rangy, good-looking sort of a dude, so it was only natural that he would spread his seed far and wide around the population of Hollywood. Oh, his seed was spread wide, Johnny. It was spread wide all over the place. And there was always a beautiful woman on Clint's arm, or elsewhere.
When you think of famous womanizers from the 20th century, several prominent names jump to mind. John F. Kennedy, Wilt Chamberlain, Frank Sinatra, and Clint Eastwood. Wait, really, Clint? While those first three names may seem obvious, the fact that the stolid, silent Eastwood is included in legendary Lotharios may come as a bit of a shock. But trust me, belong there he does.
Would you believe it? Would you have the nerve to talk about it?
Oh yeah, Clint loved his ladies, but that's not detracting from the famous bloody star that he is, Johnny. And I think Clint's too fucking old to be doing anything like that anymore.
It's just time, is all.
And Johnny, we here at the Ask Johnny channel, we're not trying to make Clint look like some sort of an angel. He wasn't an angel, he used to bloody shag anything that bloody moved. But that's just natural for a Hollywood star back then in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s and 20s. Oh, his seed, yes, he spread it wide. We're not holding that against him. And if Clint, if you're watching, all is forgiven. And of course, Johnny, there was that beautiful movie, Unforgiven, where he was a persecuted, psychopathic, bloody homicidal maniac again. Now you look at it, it seems that Clint plays the same bloody bloke in every film, doesn't he? But Clint showed no sign of bloody stopping, Johnny, no sign at all. But that suits Clint down to the ground, John. But then came his bloody crowning glory, Johnny, I reckon. His crowning glory in Gran Torino. Yeah, where he played this bloody old war veteran, embittered bloody widowed bloody bachelor who was driving around in his fucking pickup truck and making a few bloody moves and doing all that sort of stuff.
Come here, girl.
Stop
life. Maybe it's time you started thinking about taking it easier. These places are nothing like what you think they'd be. They're great.
But by Jesus, he was Clint. There was no denying it was Clint. He was just a bit too old to be doing the bloody thing. Andy, come on, Johnny, do the voice again. Do Clint. What did he say? But he offered those great words, Johnny, in that film to that bloody bum on his front lawn in the dark with his gun, and he says, "Get off my lawn." Johnny, you'd swear it was bloody Clint in the room here with us.
Get off my lawn.
Could have thought of some bit better bloody words than that. I would have said, at least get off my fucking lawn. That would have given a bit more bite to it. But get off my lawn, it's, yeah, well, it's okay.
Are you crazy, man? Get out of here, man.
Oh, he was hot, Johnny. He was hot. Even though you and I are hot-blooded heterosexuals, Johnny, there were a couple of films there where I said, by Jesus, Clint's looking pretty bloody good. If I was a woman, I'd be bloody, yeah. If I was a bloody woman, I'd be bloody going for a bit of bloody Clint. Johnny, what about his more recent films? I believe there's a film that's been released quite recently. That's another bloody triumph for Clint. But Johnny, that leads us to almost present day for poor old Clint. And he's starring in a new film called Cry Macho. Where in that particular film, Clint plays his bent over old fucking 92-year-old who looks like he can't even fucking hardly walk, and who better to play some old bent over bastard than Clint Eastwood himself? Yeah, he's an old bent over bastard in real life now.
To be strong, macho. I used to be a lot of things, but I'm not now.
He was perfect for the role, though. He was bloody perfect.
My son, Rafael, he's in trouble. I want to get him out of Mexico.
You want me to go down there and kidnap him?
Please, just get him back up here.
Just you? Just me.
I know it's a bit of a shock to see old Clint in this bloody film, getting around like a 92-year-old, especially if you've just watched some Dirty Harry films or an episode of Rawhide, but that's the reality of life, Johnny. But I reckon that Clint's got at least 6 more films left in him. Oh yeah, bloody oath, Johnny, I'm with you. And I'll be bloody surprised if he doesn't make a film when he's 100, playing a 100-year-old drug bloody dealer or something, living out in the caravan in the desert, doing some of those bloody that stuff that he's always done. Well, Johnny, I hope we've done Clint proud. I hope he gets to see this particular documentary. I'm sure he'll be very pleased with it, and thanks for your time. There he was, a skinny, runty little bloody kid.
And who's gonna believe you? You're a killer, Harry.